Yes, folks, mark my words, opposing immigration, especially of certain people, will be a hate crime in New Zealand if Andrew Little gets his way. How do I know this? Well, we've just got to connect the dots. We're on the same path as the UK. We're on the same hate speech path as them. And the UK also signed on to the UN's Global Compact on Migration. Now, the other day, Cross the Rubicon did a great video about some questions Jacinda Ardern Police asked the moderator of the website rightminds.nz. So now let's have a look at those questions and start connecting the dots. The interrogation began. Tomorrow is the anniversary of the March 15th terrorist attack. Would you describe it as such? Are you active on social media and what's your username? Are you a member of any political groups? Now, what business is that of the police? Does the right in Right Mind stand for right wing? Right wing, bad. Do you donate to any political parties or other organisations? Again, what business is that of the police? Do you know what the new Conservatives' immigration policy is? Do you know any representatives of the new Conservative Party? What are your views on immigration? Wow, do you see what's going on here, folks? Why are Jacinda Ardern Police asking about the new Conservatives' immigration policy? Well, it's quite clear to me they want to brand the new Conservatives as being far-right extremists. And they want to silence the new Conservatives for exposing Labor's UN-driven agenda on migration. They want to silence this guy.
And what we can see now is this government is not only after our sovereignty, they are after our soul. The soul of this nation is now under threat. The UN Migration Pact that is being signed is nothing less than a wiping out of one culture to be replaced by another culture. A culture that is coming from an organisation who don't even have the decency to have their own land. The UN does not rule us here. We rule us here. This pact is an end-game type of pact. There was even an academic yesterday who was reporting, calm down, it's not binding, relax about it, it's just a bunch of goals. So in my head I was thinking, right, so it's actually not replacing our sovereignty, you're just promising to replace our sovereignty.
Yeah, that's right.
What you know.
Exactly. Anyway, now to Andrew Little and his agenda. Justice Minister forges ahead with hate speech laws for New Zealand. Imam Gamal Forda says freedom of speech should not mean tolerating hate speech. This is not New Zealand. This is not us. Do you see what's going on here, folks? This guy here, he was born in Egypt and he immigrated here in 2003. And here he is telling us this is not New Zealand. Proposed hate speech laws for New Zealand are imminent. I'll just scroll down a bit. Little announced he would be considering making hate crime an offence in the wake of the March 15 Christchurch terror attack last year. At the time, Little said the laws that dealt with hate speech were woefully inadequate. and fast-tracked a widespread review of New Zealand's existing legislation. This included deciding whether hate crime should be established as its own separate offence, as it is in the United Kingdom. So we're going to follow the UK model. So let's get an idea of how that's going to look. Anyway, hat tip to David Bradley for this one. Paul was later charged with a hate crime for criticising the level of immigration into Ballymena. Britain First leader Paul Golding is charged over the distribution of anti-immigration leaflets in Northern Ireland. Now folks, this is what's coming to New Zealand. It will be a hate crime to legitimately oppose the immigration of certain people. Britain First boss Paul Golding's conviction in Northern Ireland for racist flyer upheld. Now I'll show you that so-called racist flyer shortly.
Anything to say, Mr. Golding?
I think free speech in Northern Ireland's dead, like it is in the rest of the UK. It's just a gradual erosion of our right to criticise things that are not politically correct, like mass immigration or radical Islam or terrorism. If for certain things they're trying to establish that are taboo, you can't mention them or they'll prosecute you. The conviction was upheld, but the suspended sentence, which is hanging over me, has been removed. So it's a personal victory, but it's a dark day for freedom of speech. That is my appeal over and done with, and I'm very happy with the outcome, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, we all know free speech is dead in Great Britain. We all know it's on its way out. We all know.
Yeah, same happening here. It's gone here. We don't have free speech in New Zealand nor Australia.
We're sliding towards a police state where speech is regulated, just like Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany. We know we're going in this direction. So I'm not too bothered or fussed about the actual conviction. It would have been nice to overturn it. So, you know, in a sense, we've lost a moral victory. But the main thing is that the suspended sentence, which was imposed on me, that lasts for 2 whole years, has now been overturned. And it's been reduced to a fine. So now, for the first time in a year and a half, I'm in Northern Ireland, I've got no bail conditions and no suspended sentence hanging over me. So now we can get back to work on the streets of Northern Ireland like we were a year and a half ago and start to build momentum and support and our activist base again. And we're also going to be going back to the town of Ballymena where this whole farce, this whole saga started, and we are going to be announcing new street rallies. We're going to be going and canvassing doors, we're going to go out leafleting, and we are going to mobilise the local population who are on our side, who want us to be in that town. We are going to mobilise them to take effective political action against the deluge, the influx of immigration into their town. The ruling today had it has set a precedent, a very chilling effect on freedom of speech in Northern Ireland, which is now dead. Because essentially what I did, in essence, in that leaflet was say, look, there is an influx of migration into Ballymena, which is particularly coming from East European gypsy migrants. That was what the leaflet said. Now, according to the courts, that was insulting. I don't see what's insulting to actually name the ethnic or religious group that predominates when it comes to migration into a particular town.
And nor do I. Anyway, now let's go and see that so-called racist flyer. So this is the flyer, and I'll just scroll down slowly so you can read it. Now see if you can spot any racism or hate. And that's called hate speech, folks. Yes, folks, it's quite clear to me that the new hate speech laws that Andrew Little is drawing up will be designed to punish opposition to immigration. And they'll also be designed to silence people like Elliot Akili of the New Conservatives. Now, Elliot really must pose a problem for the woke folk. They can't call him a racist because he's the wrong colour.